Hey, so in this video, you're about to see an interview I did with one of my clients, Lindsey. We talk about what life looked like for her before we started working together, what the process has felt like along the way, and most importantly, the transformation she has experienced from living in constant stress to creating a life that feels lighter, more balanced, and genuinely fulfilling. So take a breath, settle in, and enjoy her story.
All right. Well, Lindsay, tell me, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Lovely. Yeah, I just want to say thanks for taking the time to do this with me. I really appreciate it. Um, yeah, doing this basically allows me to connect with other people, so can help some more folks. So yeah, with this, I really just want to have a natural conversation, about your experience thus far, where you've been, and yeah, where you're going. So with that in mind, could you briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi. I'm Lindsay. Um, I'm a nurse, currently about to start a new travel nurse contract. Um, what all am I supposed to say for
No,
this?
that's great. Yeah, maybe tell us where you live, what kind of nursing you do, and just like overall what kind of season of life that you feel like you're in.
Okay. All right, I'll restart. I'm Lindsay. Uh, I live in Denver, Colorado, and I'm a travel nurse. Um, I was previously living in Denver for about a year and a half. And I took a position out in Hawaii when I first started working with James. Um, I do a variety of different types of nursing. Um, Being a travel nurse, I am mainly focusing right now on neuro and cardio, which can be pretty intense. Um, And the season of life I would say I'm in right now, as I'm starting a new travel contract next week, is a season of change. But I would say a season of change with stability and grounding.
Right on. Yeah, well said. When you first started working together, what would you say you were going through? Um, yeah, what did like your day-to-day life feel like overall?
Mm. So when we first started working together, it's right after I moved to Hawaii. So there's a lot going on. I feel like I left Denver kind of excited, but also very lost. And I felt like I was running away from problems here, but that doesn't seem to work. They followed me. Um, so I was I felt very disconnected when we first started working together, um, disconnected from myself.
Yeah. What challenges or struggles felt the heaviest to you back then that you're willing to share?
Hmm. Definitely, I was just overwhelmed with life. I had all these great things going for me. Uh, I was accomplishing my dreams, but I didn't feel that. Um, I, I think the biggest struggle that I was dealing with was feeling disconnected.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. It's hard to feel like gratitude or fulfillment with achieving one's dreams when there is that sense of disconnect in the way. So, yeah, I mean, with that in mind, was that something that you've been feeling for a while? Um, yeah, what was it like sitting with that before we started?
It was really heavy, and I felt like I was in a hole that I couldn't get out from because I felt it prior to when I left Denver, and it followed me there again, where I'm in this place, this beautiful place, accomplishing like my dream, and but I felt terrible. So it didn't feel good. It felt like I felt like disappointed
Mhm.
in a way that it wasn't what I pictured in my mind.
For sure. Yeah. What was, could you share like some of the emotions? Like, was there a sense of instability there? Um, having perhaps difficulty connecting to, like I said, like gratitude or a sense of joy, um, that piece. And also, how did this show up at work as well?
Yeah. I think the biggest one was gratitude. Uh, I I feel a lot of things, and I feel them very heavily, and I wasn't having that, and so it was really hard to feel like proud of myself, um, and to feel present was my biggest thing, um, and that's really important when I'm at work, uh, and just with other people too. Um, but yeah, I felt like I couldn't be my full self at work, and so I couldn't give like I knew I could to my patients.
Yeah. Appreciate you sharing that. Was there anything in the past that you did to try to work through this? Yeah, it could be anything, but some examples like therapy, self-help, books, podcasts, just other regulating practices. Yeah, anything like that. And do you feel like any of those clicked?
Uh, a couple years ago, I went to therapy, and I really enjoyed it. I think I got a lot out of it. Um, was not doing that during that time, but it definitely was very useful, and I still like the things in my sessions from those years like still come up, as in like what I learned and worked through and how to work through it. And then, geez, something as simple as just like talking to my friends, like that can also be therapy in itself in a different form. Um, Meditation, and part of that for me is going to yoga is a meditation for me and helps me center and release.
For sure. Yeah, and with those experiences, how do you feel like that was enough? Because despite doing those things, you still had this sense of disconnect and everything you just shared. So yeah, do you feel like those were sufficient in and of themselves?
Oh, well, I wasn't doing those things
I see.
like before we started working together. Um, I think they definitely would have helped, but everything felt very chaotic.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess I was living in the chaos and couldn't find my way back.
That totally makes sense. Yeah, so there was a period where you were doing those things. They were helping. You probably had more stability then, and then stopped doing them.
Mhm.
Whatever, life gets in the way. We fall off track. Um, yeah, now here we are. So yeah, since we've started this journey and um, probably should have said this at the beginning, but we're, let's see, like 7 or 8 sessions in probably. Um, yeah, since starting, how have things shifted for you overall? Emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually,
Mm,
anything you want to share?
in all ways, everything has shifted. Um, yeah, I feel like throughout our sessions have planted seeds slowly that allowed me to get to the point of where I wanted to be. So, like, something that we talked in one session, in between, it's in the back of my mind while I'm doing things. And I like slowly started to do those things that make me feel better, like meditating. Um, and yeah, I feel like I started feeling like myself again. I was able to overcome all these negative things that were holding me back, and learn from them and process them in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I feel a deeper connection with myself. All yeah.
It's awesome. Love it. Yeah, is there any other things like when you're in Hawaii that um, working together helped you gain more initiative for yourself to do? Like, spending time in nature, spending more time with yourself, finding stillness and not being constantly go, 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 having a greater sense of balance, stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely spending time in nature. Nature became my biggest teacher when I was in Hawaii, uh, which is really cool. Um, and I can use that for the rest of my life.
Great.
And with that, finding stillness, even outside of the moments where it was easy, like watching the sunset or sitting at the beach and watching the waves, I was able to apply that to the chaos and work too. When I was a had a busy day or had a moment where I needed to slow down, I was able to like take from what I learned being in nature and like what we've talked about in our sessions and just take a second and breathe. And it changed everything.
That's huge, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it seems like these things seem small, but it's a little moments like that have such weight and energy behind them. So yeah, that's incredible. Um, how has it felt to have more clarity and that inner sense of safety and stillness? How's it felt to have that begin to take root? Obviously there's so much more life and journey ahead. But yeah, just to speak to some of the progress that you've given and made for yourself there.
Mm. feels like I'm in charge again, whereas the things I was feeling before, like stress or anxiety, those were what was controlling me. And now I know that I have the lead and I can control those things.
That's huge, man. Love that. Looking forward now, where do you see yourself going in like the next, 3 to 6 months, even a year out? If you keep building on, this progress that you've made and continuing to gain momentum.
Oh, I just see myself on like an upward climb of like leveling up, getting to know myself better, being deeper connected with myself.
Mm.
Um, and on the in the process of becoming more and more present, which was definitely my biggest obstacle that I had when we started.
Yeah, I definitely remember. I've seen and felt that shift as we've gone along for sure. Sometimes subtle, sometimes more overt, but that's so cool to watch. Do you do you have any new vision or idea, goals even of how you want to bring the sense of presence to life for yourself?
Ooh, I don't know if I've thought about it before in that aspect. Uh,
Perhaps to phrase it differently, by becoming more and more present and more yourself, deeper connection. How do you see yourself being, feeling, or creating, anything like that?
yeah, I see myself feeling so many things. They're like rambling through my head right now. But feeling good to just make it really simple, in control, inspired, like empowered. Um, and I've honestly, yeah, I've already felt all those things, but it's made a big difference because I've been able to help other people with it too already from like what I've learned and felt. Like some of my like really, really close friends are, probably like going through something similar that I was, and like showing them the tools that I learned has been really freaking cool.
Love that. It's that domino effect.
Yeah.
That's incredible. What's something that has surprised you about my coaching process? Maybe something you weren't expecting, but has ended up being pretty powerful for you.
Hmm. I really didn't know what to expect, because my only like experience with something like this, like close enough to it, would be going to therapy. And
Mhm.
therapy, you like it's always like feeling a little uneasy going into it, even though I like got a lot out of it. Um, but you just have to sit there and really like dig super deep about like these really deep things. And I thought it was going to be somewhat similar to that. And it, to a certain point, sometimes it can be, depending on what we're working on. Um, but the way that you do it, you again plant the seeds, but also with that, like you give us the tools and then we create something out of it. So that part has been really cool.
Love that. What's an example of one of those tools? If you don't mind sharing.
um, oh, what we talked about last week, for example, the like self-talk,
Mm-hmm.
what they call
Wordsmithing.
wordsmithing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Planted the seeds of not using like literally or the way that you talk, and it just like re alters your brain and you just have a different perspective and
Mm-hmm.
like mindset by simply switching words or rewording it in a different way. And I catch myself all the time doing those things and like, oh, let me word it like that. And it feels so much better.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad that one's sticking for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was camping this past weekend, I was just looking out at the mountains and the stream, and I was reflecting on that, like how I've been, like I remember when I was introduced to, the conflict versus architect language, and that seed was planted for me. I was like, man, it's been over a year now that I'm doing it, and it's made such a difference. And the way I talk to myself, the way I talk, period, more conscious and aware, just in general with that. And it's such a journey. I feel like there's a whole lifetime ahead of deepening this awareness and being more conscious with language and all the downstream effects from it. So yeah, it's so cool that it's having, a similar effect for you.
Absolutely.
Okay. I think last question here. If someone was on the fence about working with me, maybe they're in burnout, just craving more clarity, connection, energy, less stress, less overwhelm, etc. Or just, yeah, wondering if coaching is worth it, what would you tell them?
Go for it. Just do it. If they have any sort of interest in it, they think that it could help them. And maybe they're like what I was talking about earlier, like they're a little hesitant because they've gone to therapy and like that just like was too much for them. It didn't work for them. Or they've tried all these things, or they haven't done much at all and they just feel stuck like I did. Like, just give it a shot. You will get something out of it.
Awesome. I really appreciate that.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you sharing so openly, Lindsey.
Yeah. Thanks.
It's been a hell of a journey thus far, and we ain't even finished.
No. Oh.
Awesome.